So when I was younger, my strategy was to buy newer properties because what I wanted to do was have a high degree of depreciation to write up on my tax. Now that I'm a little bit older and wiser, my strategy has changed. If I look in the Sydney market, for argument's sake, the equivalent socio-economic area in Sydney to Logan, you'd be looking at paying maybe $350,000 to $450,000 for a house in Sydney. So therefore, I could only buy 3 or 4 houses, realistically 3 houses. But for a lesser value, I could buy more properties in the greater Logan area, which is just purely marketplace. At the present moment, the Logan area represents a very good value. And that meets with my requirement. I'm hoping that the Logan area will grow in value a little bit quicker than a mature area. I'm currently still in a purchasing phase, so I probably have, let's call it between 5 to 7 more properties that I'd like to purchase in the next, sort of anywhere between the next 1 to 3 months. But once I've purchased my desired quantity of properties, it's basically to sit there for the next 3-5 years, and for me it's about evaluating and re-evaluating. So 3 years down the track, what I would do is I'd sit down and I would have a look and I'd say to myself, how much equity do I have in these properties? Is there enough equity to allow me to buy another 5 or 10 more properties? Do I want to hold on to these properties, or do I want to sell them? Do I think they're going to continue growing in value, or are they going to slow down in their growth? Value growth. So that's that evaluation and re-evaluation of, well, what do I want to do? I've been in situations where I've sold every single investment property that I've had to start again. So for me, I've got, as a standard, let's call it 5 properties plus or minus that I need to buy, and then I sit tight and I wait for 3 or 4 years, and I reevaluate what it is I want to do then. It's very much about building equity in your properties. So you've got to go back 2 steps and you've got to say to yourself, have I bought in the right suburb? Did I buy the properties right? The problem is, if you've spent, let's say, $50,000 on a $300,000 property more than what you should have, it will take you a lot longer to bring that wealth factor back. So long as you've bought right, on that individual property, so long as you've bought in a suburb that you believe will have future growth, it's about building equity. And I look at equity as a bank account. The more equity that you can gain in a property, the more cash you have in your bank account. So the more properties you have, the more equity you build, the more cash you have in a bank account, and come retirement, if you can hold on to the properties that long, one would hope that you're sitting on a truckload of money buying real estate, and you can either sell those properties and retire, or if they're paid off, you can live off the rent that's coming through these properties as well. So again, there's a couple of different ways of looking at what does wealth mean, and at what point in your life are you looking at that wealth? Are you looking at it for 5 or 10 years down the track, or you're looking at that wealth for retirement?